Yeah, this is Charlie Baker and Andy Jacobs with you through till 4 o'clock. Following us is talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent. And then after that, it is the Carabao Cup semi-final. Liverpool v Fulham. Kick-off with Adrian Durham from 7 o'clock. And then following that, 10 till 1 is the Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Big Fulham fan. Our talkSPORT cricket correspondent, John Norman, joins us now. Hello, John.
Hello. How you doing?
Very, very well. Are you nervous about tonight? We'll talk about Fulham in a minute, but just tell us if you're nervous.
Am I nervous? I don't have a lot of expectation, to be honest with you. It's one of those ones where you just want to get through to half-time without it going horribly wrong. So last year, essentially, it was a really good season for us, and we went to Old Trafford, and so it was the FA Cup game against Manchester United, right? So I watched like the first hour of it, and then had to put the kids to bed. So I pressed pause. And we had been bossing the game. I mean, we played so well. We were 1-0 up, and I took the kids to bed, and I made that massive mistake. I started to plan my trip to Wembley with the kids. No. By the time I put them to bed and come back down, I mean, I'd already gone through how many family members were going to be there on trip. And then something went wrong with when you sometimes you press, unpause on live TV. And something had happened and it just skipped like 25 minutes and Fernandez was about to take a penalty. And I just thought,
how unusual.
Oh no, what's happened here? And then I kind of rewound it and all I saw in like times 30, but backwards, was Mitrovic pushing a referee, Willian getting sent off for Marco Silva.
Oh, that was that game.
It was like, I've never ever gone from basically watching as my club captain accepted the FA Cup trophy in front of about 40 Normans to this car crash in reverse times 30 as half of our team was sent off and my dreams are in dust. So
there we are.
No expectations
No expectation tonight. We'll speak a bit of Fulham again in a second, but you're here to talk cricket, John.
Yeah.
What's on your agenda?
Well, obviously, we are very, very, very close to the start of this Test series, India versus England.
Live on talkSPORT.
Live on talkSPORT and across on talkSPORT 2, of course. You can get your content fix via the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube page. Neil Manthorpe and Darren Gough and Steve Harmis and Jarrod Kimber, all the team getting the band back together. But this week, it's all been about one man, isn't it? If England against India is the very best, then maybe David Warner has been the very worst of cricket over the years. But I watched his swan song, his final game, of course, for Australia. He will be continue playing the shorter format. And I felt really mixed. I felt conflicted. I don't know about you guys, but the departing of David Warner essentially brings to an end, I would say, an era of cricket which involves villains. And David Warner was the villain. He was the ultimate villain. I don't think I celebrated any wicket more than his. And he's gone now. And when you look round the world of cricket now, there's just too many nice players. Everybody gets on too well. You look at the West Indies. Well, we like all of them. But you look at the Australians. Without David Warner, we kind of like a lot of them.
This is to do with franchise cricket because they all play with each other in teams in these things. But Warner, honestly, it's like these people have got no self-awareness. I cut this out. He said, as I head to the next chapter, I carry with me the values and principles instilled in me during my time with the team. You think, hello?
Yeah.
Well, this is the point itself.
He's gone sand blind. Sandpaper blind.
Some people can paint him as this pantomime villain, but Neil Manthorpe, who's been in the game a long, long time, and if you think that there is quite a harsh relationship between England and Australia and cricket, actually, the relationship between South Africa and Australia traditionally is even worse. And well, let's hear what Neil Manthorpe had to say about David Warner and the take from a lot of players in the game and how they have come up against him.
I know of at least 3 cricketers who now make their living post-retirement from giving talks about just how nasty David Warner was for years and years. And the first thing that crosses my mind, John, when you refer to pantomime villains, is that they're funny and they're largely harmless. and this is a question, it's not a statement, but my experience is that from year after year after year, David Warner was meticulous in his planning, and the level of cynicism and downright viciousness for year after year after year. Personal attacks, deep personal attacks. And what I also learned through the course of the last 5 or 6 years is that he was put up to it by other players who said, yeah, go for it. They referred to him as the attack dog. And I know that time heals everything, but I think it'll take a few years for quite a lot of people who played against David Warner to even think of him as a pantomime villain.
I think there's a counterbalance to that, which is quite
pretty
strong.
Pretty heavy, pretty strong
stuff.
Neil Manthorpe, though, we'll just say that.
Yeah, not me.
He was a brilliant player. I mean, he was a great batsman. You can't deny that. I mean,
and Neil isn't, is he? I mean, he was fantastic. I mean, his record at home stands up there with anyone. His record away, less so.
Well, obviously, he was Stuart Broad's buddy, basically.
Yeah, his record in India, West Indies, and England was mid-20s, I think. Mm-hmm. But the case about David Warner, it's quite stark, and this again is what I'm talking about. It's about villains. It's about people that you invest in, whether it's negatively or positively. It's about people that you care about, and that's what David Warner walking away from the game is actually taking. He's taking it with him, and actually, if you flip it round, Stuart Broad leaving is the same. Yeah, because he was a huge villain in Australia. They hated Stuart Broad, not in the same way. But similarly, him walking,
he took wickets,
of course, but also because he fronted up and he basically stood up.
One behind and he stood there. I think you'll find that would be the reason.
But you can discuss taking the sport away from the sports person. You know, and you can discuss that forever. You can say Lance Armstrong won lots of Tour de France's, but he cheated to win all of them, every single one of them, and has admitted that. So do you put David Warner in that box?
No, I mean, I don't think you put David Warner anywhere near the Lance Armstrong box.
Oh, no.
But,
for goodness sake.
But,
he pushed it. He just pushed it.
I'll give you a story, right? So, Australia, in that it may have been the series before the Sandpaper Gate, Australia play South Africa. Yeah. This is going to sound very twee, but essentially, it's all about mental disintegration, okay? Sticks and stones.
Paul does the same to me and Charlie. We work with him.
Sticks and stones and all that, but it's not true. Words carry weight.
Yeah.
So essentially, Australia are going at South Africa. And in one of the post-match press conferences, Faf du Plessis, the captain, refers to Australia as like a pack of wild dogs. So the very next test match, David Warner stands at point and he barks. For 2 hours. He barks, and barks. That, in itself, sounds stupid. Yeah. But, of course, cricket is a unique game. It's 11 against 2. So you've got two blokes out there, and the bloke batting, of course, feels very much on his own when the bowler's coming in. And you've got this team that are essentially cut from the Steve Waugh mould, where essentially it wasn't just enough to beat you. They wanted to destroy you at the same time. And Warner is a throwback from that.
I mean, another quote from him: "The lessons learned, memories made, and friendships forged will forever hold a special place in my heart." Hello.
But see, this is the thing, right? So this is one of the conversations that we had on following on this week. We're now for Warner, right? Because the big kind of elephant in the room is he going to release this book? Yeah. Is he going to come out now? He's got rid of his Cricket Australia contract and say, right, the truth. You want to know what happened? Now I'm going to tell you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But if he does that, of course, he'll be cast adrift from Cricket Australia. But I don't think he's going to care too much. And I think that Warner is going to move into the commentary box, and he is going to be an incredible presence within that box. And the game itself is going to lose from having lost him. Mm-hmm. But as long as he stays within the game, be it on TV, I think we could be treated to some ridiculousness over the next 5 or 10 years.
I think he's going to play for a bit longer, though.
He's still playing for a bit. He's still going to make a bit of money. And obviously, we've just seen he's just hit century against Pakistan. He's gone out on his own terms. I mean, he still wants to play the T20 World Cup and will do. So he's going to stick around for a little bit, but he's been a phenomenal player, a very interesting one, and I expect that to continue.
Brilliant. So that interview's on following on podcast?
Yeah, so Manis is on it. We talk about it, Harmy, of course, so that's on the YouTube channel and also via following on podcast feed.
Yeah. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.